Bible name changes, hidden occult meanings. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. I spent 20 years as a licensed minister with three of the largest Protestant denominations in the world. I have a Bible college education, Bible college graduate, and over 100,000 hours of study in the biblical text. Next week, next Wednesday, we'll be going on worldwide shortwave radio as well. Just another way to try to reach out and try to get in touch with more people and to spread this message to more people. Tonight, we're simulcasting on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So welcome to each and every one of you that are joining us on those platforms. I hope that you'll find something that is worth your time. And I truly believe that you will. I think it's going to be some really powerful, really positive information. And it's stuff that's going to be able to actually help you. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Bible name changes. See if I can get this out of my way for the Twitter folks. Bible name changes and the hidden occult meanings of them. Somebody actually sent me a message. I believe it was an email message asking about this subject. Great question. And we are going to get into that. I don't know what you mean, Lid T. And we're going to get into that question right now. So Bible name changes. If you sit there and you think about it, you can probably think of some people that have changed their names or had their names changed within the Bible. And it portended massive changes in their lives. And we're going to talk about the spiritual, the practical, what it really means when you change somebody's name. And I just want you to know that if you are looking to change your life, follow my morning motivation series and go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com, where we show you how to lose religion and find God. Click on the Mistech logo. That's these bands that I wear. Yeah, I do wear 8 of them total. Why do I wear them? Because they allow me to sleep half the time. They allow me to get twice the rest. Greatly improve my performance in the gym, help me in my astral projecting and my other spiritual disciplines. Helps tremendously with male and female virility, I'm told. Great stuff, powerful stuff, restores your body to the Schumann resonance, which is the normal healing resonance, which is proven to be very, very beneficial to you. I invite you to take a look at these bands on the Mistech site, decide which one you want. Go back to my site, order them at a 20% discount. Help me help you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's change the world one Mistech band at a time. If you think that's overstated, just wait and see what happens to you when you get your body restored again to its natural Schumann resonance, which is proven to help you optimize your life. So let's talk about name changes in the Bible. And let's go right to the first name change in the Bible. The first name change in the Bible, I just sent out a big order today, and we'll have another big order going out Monday, and we'll be all caught up. So here we go. Let's talk about the first name change in the Bible, and some of you have already guessed it. It was Abram, whose name got turned into Abraham. Well, that's not much of a change, right? Oh, I don't have my scarf on. That's why I feel naked. That's not much of a change. That's not much of a real alteration. Well, when you begin to look at it in the original Hebrew in this case, the meaning of it becomes much more prominent. And it's in Genesis 17:5. Neither shall your name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations I have made you. I'm not going to call you Abram anymore, and people aren't going to call you Abram anymore. They're going to call you Abraham, because I've made you a father of many nations. So let's look at the Hebrew again of that. Genesis 17:5, you're going to see a profound thing here. Listen, I'm not calling you Abram anymore. What does Abram mean? Well, Abram means like revered father, honored father. And that's a good thing, to be an honored father. It's a good thing to have children that honor you and people that honor you, to be an exalted or honored father. But instead of that, Abram, he's going to change his name to Abraham, which means the father of a nation. The father of a nation. So, Jeff, does that really make a difference? The father of a multitude? Well, let's look at that. This guy, Abram, was a father. He was father of a family, obviously. He was an exalted father within himself. Now, when Yahweh changed his name to exalted father, he said, look, I'm going to make you into the father of a nation. The God that said, the original gods, the Elohim, said, listen, we are not a respecter of persons. We don't lift one person over another. We don't lift one race over another. We don't lift one family over another. And Abram was an exalted father within his family, within his tribe, within his people. Abram was. All of a sudden, here comes the Lord, and there was some chicanery going on. There was some wheeling and dealing going on. I think the Lord probably made Abraham an offer he couldn't refuse, if you know what I mean. And Abraham then became the father of a great nation, the cat, a special nation, a called out nation. Since when do gods start picking people that they like more than others? Maybe it reads better in the original German, where they said, we are God's chosen people. Everyone gets upset about that, but when Abram says, and Yahweh says, I'm going to make you the father of a special chosen people, no one seems to have any problem with that. Anything that exalts, anything that raises, anything that lifts, anything that puts one person down and lifts another up, anything that places anyone, somebody says hi, Rooney, anything that places anyone else over anyone else, and especially everyone else, simply because of race, color, or creed, that's bad. That is really, really, in my opinion, bad. And I think it needs to be recognized as such. So he took a guy and made him into the father of a nation. That's not good. So there's some very real. I had something really spicy before I came on here, and it's coming back to haunt me. So that shows you the hidden nature of the change of the name of Abraham. And then, of course, you've got the change of Sarah as well. And that's kind of along the same lines. Let's look at that one. That's in Genesis 17:15. And we'll just go straight to the interlinear. Genesis 17:15. No longer will you be called Sarai, which is, basically, what does it mean? It means diminutive. It means, let's look at Sar, the original word. It means a chieftain, a ruler, a captain, a prince. That's what it's from. Diminutive, though, doesn't, a dominative. Yeah. So it means that she was kind of large and in charge as Sarai. And she got changed to Sarah. Sarah, which means a wife, a princess. So do you notice the change there? Sarai was a strong, powerful, dominant type woman. Sarai. Diminutive, right? Where'd that go? She was diminutive. She was a powerful woman. All of a sudden, she goes from being a powerful woman to being Sarah, the little kept princess wife of Abraham. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a wife, and some ladies really want to be a wife, and they really do want to be a housekeeper, and that's a very honored profession. They want to just, take care of the home and take care of their husband. Nothing wrong with that. But obviously, Sarai, if she lived up to her namesake, wasn't one of those kind of ladies, and that's okay too. She was powerful. She was strong. But when the dude you're married to has just become the head of a cult that says they're God's chosen people, well, guess what? You can't be strong and diminutive anymore. You've got to be the little prince's wife. So this meant a huge change in lifestyle, a huge change in being for Sarai. She became Sarah. And ladies, they've been keeping you down ever since. I think you ladies need to get a hold of your inner Sarai. Get back to being strong, powerful women. Get back to being fully accomplished women with their own great basic purpose, wanting to do their own great things, wanting to go to their own great places, wanting to have their own great accomplishments. The day of being the little princess in the background, behind every man is a good woman, BS. Now, if you want to be that lady, that's fine. Some of you do. I support you. I respect you. But don't let this male-dominated Abraham, we're the chosen people, get in the kitchen and make a sandwich mentality continue to infect you. And why you continue to go to churches that teach that that's what you're supposed to be and that's what you're supposed to do is beyond me. Shame on you, ladies. Time for you to wake up. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. He's got you in there making the breakfast. Why don't you just smell it? I wasn't going to do it, but why don't you smell what the Lord's got cooking? And it stinks. Now let's look at another one. Let's look at Jacob. I wasn't showing you this, but you got the idea. Well, I'll show you the next one. Jacob is in Genesis 32. I don't know who recommended this to me as a study, but thank you. Genesis 32:28. When do you see this one? It gets progressively better. Jacob 32:28. Genesis 32:28, talking about Jacob. If you went to church, you remember Jacob, cub. And the first one's name was Jacob. Anyway. And he said, your name's not going to be called Jacob anymore. What does Jacob mean? Jacob means, see, sometimes you got to go all the way down to find out just the basic meaning of the word. Heel catcher. Does that remind you of anything else? Strike his heel. Does that remind you of anything else? Strike his heel. Genesis 3:15. In this story, the serpent is being chastised. And if you go to King James, it says, you will strike his heel. How about that? So Jacob was actually a personification in Genesis 3:15. Jacob was a personification of the serpent that caused mankind to fall, if that happened. But it just shows you in the story, he was a deceiver, a bad guy. So, and of course, in the scriptures, it does kind of show people's essential natures. So his nature was a bad guy, a deceiving guy. But you're not going to be a heel biter anymore. I know where some of your minds are going. Now you're going to be called Israel. God strives. Interesting about that. God strives. And what's also interesting, it's also from Sarah. God strives. God strives. And you know what the word strives mean? It means God makes war. So in other words, it means God of war. So you used to be a deceiver. Your basic nature is to be a deceiver. But we're going to hide that basic nature. We're going to hide that basic nature. I think Cain was actually the good one, and Abel was the evil one. I've got a video on my YouTube channel. Just look up Jeffrey Daugherty, Cain, and Abel, and you'll find that. So here's Israel, son of Abraham, who is the leader of this cult that says they're God's chosen people and everyone else is worse and less. And they're out there killing fools left and right, if you remember. Now, here comes Jacob, whose true nature is to be a deceiver. But now he's called Yahweh strives. So a person whose true nature is to deceive is going out and making war, striving. That's a perfect example of Yahweh and those that follow him, full of deceit and out to kill and conquer and make war. Wow. Who knew that there was so much meaning in the changes of Bible names? I got another one for you. You ready? Let's go to Acts chapter 13 and verse number 9. And this is powerful right here. Whoops. Am I still sharing? No, let me share again. Acts 13. Come on. Acts 13 and verse number 9. I hope you all are having a great Friday night. I know some of you are probably cussing at me right now, and if some of you aren't, then I'm not doing my job. Acts 13:9. This guy named Saul, and I want you to notice just because you're in a study book, a Bible study book, doesn't mean that it's objective, and this is a perfect example of it. Because all they say to you is that Saul's name, the original name of the Apostle Paul, which again shows his original nature. His original name is a modified form of Saul, Shaul, which is about the very same thing as Sheol. And some of you know what Sheol is, but they don't mention that. They don't show that. They don't even give any links to it. They don't tell you anything about it. They just kind of leave it laying out there because they don't want you to study it, and they don't want you to get back to it, and they don't want you to realize that it is almost completely the same word as Sheol, which is the place of the dead, and which also is synonymous with Edomites. So they didn't want you to know that Paul's name, Saul, you know what Saul of Tarsus literally translated to? Saul of Tarsus literally translated to dude from the place of the entrance to hell, dude of the dead place. Why do you think he wanted to change his name to Paul? Why do you think he tried to hide for so long that he used to be Saul until Luke outed him? The name Saul, Shaul, is almost etymologically identical to the name Sheol, which is the place of the dead, metaphorically hell. And guess what? In the first century, the belief was that the entrance to the gates of the underworld, the entrance to the gates of hell, were located in, wait for it, Tarsus. So the dude of death from the gates of hell is how his name literally translated. Shaul, Sheol of Tarsus, place of the dead from the gates of hell, dude of the dead from the gates of hell. That's probably why he wanted to change his name. And can you see the powerful meanings that lie behind these name changes? I don't know why. I never looked at this for all these years because it's fascinating. It's fascinating just to see what's really happened. And I'm trying to learn to use my inside voice. I'm trying to learn to just be conversational because I'm just talking to 11,000 of my closest friends. So I'm trying to work the preacher voice out of me and trying to just talk to you. Rat bastard in human form. I've often thought that. I really have. I don't know that I can prove it. I think that he was at least possessed by the rat bastard. Probably the rat bastard walked in on him. And we've got one final one I want to share with you, which is, to me, very powerful. That's powerful. They've all been powerful. Just think of it. Saul was called the dude of the dead from the gates of hell. And you thought Barack Hussein Obama was a bad name. Dude of the dead from the gates of hell. Wow. Let's close this out with one more. And we're going to go to John chapter 1, verse number 42. John chapter 1, and we're going to go to verse number 42. John 1:42. And notice it's Jesus that does this. It's not really the Christ. It's Jesus that does this. And he says, listen, right now you're called Simon. What does Simon mean? Well, I'm not really sure. It says it's of uncertain origin. Let's see what it says down here if we get any understanding of what Simon means. It's from the Hebrew Shimon, which means a son of Jacob. Not really anything there. From the Hebrew Shama, which means to be heard or to listen, which is interesting, to hear. So the word Simon usually means to hear. The word Simon means listen to speaking, listen to teaching, hear, have attention, have interest, understand. Wow, this is even better than I thought it was. So that's what it means. Simon meant to listen, to understand, to have perception, to get it. And if you think about it, Peter, Simon, Simon was a guy that got it. He listened to the message of the Christ. He tuned in to the message of the Christ. He defended the message of the Christ. He went after Paul individually. We should just call him Saul. So he was a dude. He was a strong man. He listened, he understood, he perceived, and he got it. Can't have a guy like that running around the New Testament that you're trying to change. So instead of making his name Simon, let's turn his name into Petros. And that right there makes some of you say, ooh, because it's tied inexorably to the papacy. So Petros means a rock, a small rock, a pebble found along a pathway. So instead of being someone that is characterized by knowledge and understanding and getting it, you become a person that is like a rock in your shoe, a pebble in your shoe. And we all know how uncomfortable that can be. And if we go to where they try to tell you, see, this is really what it means. A little stone. And see, this is what I just don't understand. Again, we're going to show you the depravity and the deception of even Bible study books. It means a pebble. It means a small stone, in contrast to a boulder. So Petros, which is his name, means little bitty stone. Doesn't mean boulder. It's in contrast to a boulder. Do you get that? It means a little bitty rock that goes in your shoe and is an irritant to you, and you can't seem to get rid of it. It hurts for you to walk the way of a little stone. It hurts for you to walk the way of the teachings of the stone, of Peter, of the Roman Catholic Church. It hurts you to walk those ways. It's a little bitty rock, a rock that is found alongside a path, it said. Yeah, a small rock found alongside a path. It's insignificant. It's beside the path. It's a distraction. It's a discomfort. That's what the message of Peter, the message of Rome, the message of Roman Catholicism, the message of Roman Protestantism is. It's a stumbling block. It's something found by the wayside. It's a discomfort. It's foolishness. And yet they teach you, watch this, they know that it means a little rock. They know that it means in contrast to a big boulder. But what do? They go down here and intentionally say it's a boulder. Folks, that's what you call lying. Folks, that's what you call deceiving. Folks, that's what you call, I mean, if you're dating someone and you caught them in this type of a lie, you would stop dating them. If you're in business with someone like this and you caught them in this type of a lie, you'd stop doing business with them. If you were friends with someone like this and they're caught in this type of a lie, you would stop being friends with them. The church tells you that Peter means a stone, that Peter means a boulder, when Petros means a small rock found alongside a pathway. It's a small stone in contrast to a boulder. But doesn't it make perfect sense when you think about it in the context of the Roman Church, of Roman Catholicism, of Roman Protestantism? They want you to think they're a big boulder. They want you to think they're strong and that they're powerful and that, wow, it's the Church of Rome. It's the big church. It's the Catholic Church, which means universal. They want you to think, man, they're so big and strong and they're it. But what they really are is a little pebble, an insignificant little pebble off the true path. The true path of the Christ, the true path Twitter, the true path Facebook, the true path YouTube. They're a little pebble off of the true path. The kind of pebble that gets in your shoe and causes you discomfort. And if you walk in it long enough, it'll cause you to have a limp. And if you walk on it long enough, it'll actually, in time, it will debilitate your ability to walk. And watch this. Watch this last thing about this. And this just came to me. This just came to me. I love it when a plan comes together. I need to go get my cigars. I got some new ones. And he said, in the King James Version, ladies and gentlemen, watch this. Remember what rock means, what Petros means. It means a little bitty pebble, right? It means an insignificant stone along the pathway. And I say also unto you, you're Peter. You're not a guy that gets it anymore. You're not a guy that understands anymore. You're not a guy that listens anymore. You're not a guy that perceives anymore. You're not a guy that defends the Christ anymore. And of course, this is metaphorical. The message of the Christ and the followers of the Christ were Simons. They were Shimons in the original Hebrew. They listened, they perceived, they understood, they got it, they defended the message of the Christ, even unto death. As Peter, of course, or I'm going to call him Simon, he was killed. He was killed for his dedication to the Christ. So that's who you were, and that's who we need to be again. We need to go from Peter back to Simon, because Simon means we get it, we understand, we perceive, we listen, we defend the message of the Christ. That's the gospel truth army right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's who we are. We're in the Christ defending business, and business is a booming. We're in the perceiving business, and business is a booming. We're in the understanding business, and the understanding business is a booming. You are the gospel truth army. You are the gospel truth army. You're getting it. You're Simons. You're Shimons. But then Jesus says, listen, man, you're Peter, which means a little bitty pebble. That's a nuisance. That is insignificant, off the path of reality, of truth, of ascension, of becoming who we are. And then plastic soylent Jesus says, thank you for the hearts, it's upon this rock, this little bitty silly pebble, this little bitty insignificant, off the true path rock that will debilitate you in the longer you walk on it, this little pebble, on this pebble I'm building my church. The Roman Catholic Church, the Roman Protestant Church, is built on a little bitty insignificant pebble thrown by the wayside. And for 2,000 years, they've convinced us that they're the rock. For 2,000 years, they've convinced us that they're the rock, and they're nothing but a little, as 111 people are watching, a little insignificant, bothersome, debilitating pebble. Jeff, aren't you afraid to talk bad about the rat bastard? He's a pebble. Why would I be afraid? Jeff, aren't you worried about exposing the Christian church? Ooh, somebody on Twitter says a pebble's nothing but an oversized grain of sand. I like it. Powerful, powerful stuff. Wow. You've listened to me now for some 30 minutes. Let me listen to you. Let me get into the chat room, see what you have to say, answer your questions. I know that some of you can't listen this long, but that's okay. I am here to answer your questions. Stay as long as you like. If you have to leave, thank you for being here. If you're new, thank you for listening. I would ask you, if you would, to hit the like button. Make sure you're still subscribed, or subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you're on my Twitter feed right now or on Facebook, please go over to my YouTube channel, Jeff Daugherty Show. It's YouTube, YouTube/Jeff Daugherty Show, capital J, capital D, capital S, I think. Or just Google Jeff Daugherty, YouTube, Christian Whistleblower YouTube. You'll find it. Let's see if we have any questions. Smash the like button. Baking soda helps indigestion. I've been drinking baking soda every day and water. It's made a big difference. I like it. Someone told me that. Thank you so much for it. Ooh, Sarai was equal to Abraham. Sarai was equal to Abram, but Sarah was not equal to Abraham. How do you feel about that, ladies? And how do you men that love ladies feel about that? It always bothers me how ladies can go to a church that says you can't talk. You're supposed to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen making a sandwich. You can't be in leadership. Paul said all these things. And you're so sexually uncontrollable that if it wasn't for a man, you'd be having sex with all kinds of demons. Paul said all those things. Paul also had a joke. Paul told this joke. It's in Paul's writings. Do you know why? Yeah, I use apple cider vinegar in my urine therapy. It's really good. Paul said that there's a reason why in Pauline Christianity, do you notice that brides always wear white? Whether it's Roman Catholic Christianity or Roman Protestant Christianity, you know why brides always wear white? This is a revelation for you from on high. In Christianity, brides always wear white because they want the dishwasher to match the stove and the refrigerator. You didn't know that? I thought everyone knew that. That's why brides wear white. Because the dishwasher is supposed to match the refrigerator and the stove. So get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Because you're just a woman. How do you ladies feel about that? Love that inspiration. Thank you, April. I'm not Rex's grandma. Love Laugh Out Loud, The Rock. Yeah. Just looking for more questions. A lot of love in the room tonight. I appreciate that. At birth, the hospital takes blood from the heel or sole of the baby's foot, creates a birth certificate. Blood bond spelled. This is a dual title business entity. Living being, dual title. I don't know about all that, but that's certainly an interesting thought. Everything is backwards and inverted, says Michelle. I agree. The meaning of my real name. I know something bad happens at birth. Yep, I would agree with you, Lit T. Thank you for saying I'm awesome. I appreciate that. Damn, this gets deep. That's what we're here for, is for deep. We're in the getting deep business, cousin. And business is a booming. All right, what else we got? Everything I know is wrong. Everything you've been told is wrong. Everything you've been taught is wrong. And it's easier to convince someone it's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they've been fooled, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. Just looking at these questions. Hello, Avery. Thank you, D. Gunyon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We need to get into symbology behind the language. Absolutely. Linguistics will set us free. Absolutely. Thank you, Shannon. Never really thought about the name changes in the Bible, says Dawn. Makes sense. Unbelievably great info. Thank you. It is really unbelievably great info. Thor says, like a rolling pebble. Like a rolling stone. Yeah. Legends and mythos are real, but seem to be made up for stories and misdirection. I agree. Well, Jeff, the devil writes scriptures too. Yeah. 80% of the Bible, because 80% of it's dung. There's only about 20% of it that is diamond. Nigel, that's why I'm not afraid of him, because the rat bastard is a insignificant little pebble. His bark is far worse than his bite. He wants you to think he's big and bad. You know who the rat bastard's like? If you've never watched Tombstone, you need to watch it. There's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Kurt Russell, who is Wyatt Earp, walks into the Oriental casino saloon in Tombstone, and Billy Bob Thornton plays a character that's been in there terrorizing people. He's a thug. He's a bully. He acts like he's a big, bad, ornery guy. And Kurt Russell, and he's dealing faro there, which is a card game. And Kurt Russell walks up to him. Kurt Russell, makes the decision. They just got to town. He wants to get a stake in a card game, and he walks up to Billy Bob Thornton, and who's sitting there yelling at people and being a jerk. And the owner, the proprietor, said, I can't get any decent people in here, a decent crowd, because of this guy. So Kurt Russell walks up to him and says, you're sitting in my chair. And Billy Bob Thornton, what are you saying, boy? And he gets up in Kurt Russell's face. So Kurt Russell slaps him. And he just, you better not do that again. And Kurt Russell backhands him. Bam. He's bleeding. And Billy Bob Thornton is all, oh, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to get you. And Kurt Russell's like, go ahead, skin that thing. Let's do it. Just like the rat bastard. Oh, I'm big, I'm bad, I'm the rock, I'm the stone. Kurt Russell looks at Billy Bob Thornton. He says, you going to do something? Or are you just going to stand there and bleed? And Billy Bob Thornton stands there and bleeds. Kurt Russell says, that's what I thought. Takes him by the ear, pulls him out of the casino. That's the rat bastard. Rat bastard, you're sitting in my seat. You're sitting in my chair. I'm grabbing you by your ear and dragging you out of the throne chair of this world, and we're replacing you with somebody that's better and knows what they're doing. And that's not the end of that story in Tombstone. Because a little bit later, they're standing out in the street. Doc Holliday, brilliantly played by Val Kilmer, gets in town. Wyatt and his brothers see Doc. They're catching up. Here comes Billy Bob Thornton, the coward, with a shotgun, trying to shoot Wyatt Earp in the back. But Doc Holliday's got Wyatt Earp's back. And I forget the name of the character that Billy Bob Thornton plays, but Doc Holliday looks at him and says, why, whoever you are. And the guy's like, Doc, oh. And, of course, he isn't going to fire on a guy who's Doc Holliday. And then he finds out that Wyatt Earp is Wyatt Earp, and he almost soils himself right there. You can see it. And he says, I'm sorry. And Doc Holliday said, they're talking, and he's just standing there like, what do I do? And Doc Holliday says, oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you were there. You may go now. So he starts to leave, and Doc Holliday says, oh, leave the shotgun. That's where we are with the rat bastard right now. We're identifying him. We're calling him out. We've slapped him. We've backhanded him a couple of times. He's just standing there bleeding, impotent, nothing but a bag of gas. And he tries to come up with a shotgun and shoot your Christian whistleblower in the back. Tries to shoot a member of the GTA in the back, but another member of the GTA sees him and says, oh, it's just you. And it's like, and all of a sudden the rat bastard is now realizing that The GTA, we're Wyatt Earp. The GTA, we're the other Earp brothers. I can't remember their names right now. We're Doc Holliday. The rat bastard is the Billy Bob Thornton character. We're the Earps. We're Doc Holliday. This is the OK Corral. I'm your Huckleberry. And Yahweh, you're no Daisy. You're no Daisy at all. That's the reality they don't want you to know. That's why all the name changing. That's why all the deception. That's why all the subterfuge, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Somebody's saying on Twitter, perfect. And it's not going to be too long from now where the rat bastard's going to pull up like Wyatt and them did and said, we just want you to know we're leaving. The rat bastard's going to turn tail and run before long. You know what we're going to say to him? Well, bye. Well, bye. Well, bye. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, here to help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. You are the Gospel Truth Army. You are a Huckleberry. And this is just our game.